Hey everybody, so here we are, we're looking at some quadratics and what happens when I'm putting all of these graphs together and other cool things. So by the end of this lesson, you will be able to recognize characteristics of parabolas that where their vertex is, their axis of symmetry, does it open up, does it open down, what are the intercepts, domain, and range. So that's the basic gist of this video here. At any point in time, if I'm going too fast, then you just pause it, and that's just kind of a nice thing. So let's start at vocabulary. How do we graph quadratic functions? So there are two different forms that we have. We've got standard form, which looks like this, which you have done that for a long time. So f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And then we've got this other form called vertex form, which is hugely helpful as well. So you still have that same a out front, but then it's got x minus h. So the h is your x movement if it goes right or left. And notice that there's that minus there, so it's minus h, which is why everything goes the opposite direction of what you think. And then plus k, that's just your up or down shift. So let's look at the standard form and some things we can know about it just right away. I know that the graph is going to be a parabola. And so a parabola looks like a U. And then how do I know if it opens up or down? So again, this is a review. You know these things. So look at the front. If the front is positive or greater than 0, then which way does it go? Yeah, it opens up. But what if a is negative or lower than 0? Then it opens down. The vertex. Now this is something that we haven't talked about as much so far. So this says negative b over 2a. That I know you've seen before. And then this right here says f of negative b over 2a. What does that mean? Well, what's going to happen is we're going to find where is the x location of our vertex, and then we're going to plug that back in up here, and if I do that, that gives me my y coordinate. The y coordinate and the f of x are the same thing. My axis of symmetry is the opposite of b over 2a, and that kind of comes from x equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Well, at the axis of symmetry, everything under the square root part is 0. So that's why you just have the opposite of b all over 2a. So we're going to go through and we'll work through some of those things and how does that actually come into play. Over here, vertex form is a beautiful thing. This is also a parabola because the mother function is x squared. But so if the a out front is positive, then it opens up. If the a is negative, it opens down. The vertex, this one is so much nicer because it's just hk. Axis of symmetry is just x equals whatever your h value is. So these two things play back and forth. So over here it says x equals the opposite of b over 2a. Well, then that's what, if we were just going into our vertex form, we could plug that in for h. All parabolas have either a maximum or a minimum, kind of depending. So think about if a parabola is opening up, that means it has a low value or a minimum. If it's opening down, then it has a maximum value. And then the lowest point, depending on whether the parabola opens up or down. So the maximum is the highest point, the minimum is the lowest point. So there we go. That's just kind of the vocabulary. So I'm going to stop this video here so you have that part, and then we'll go on to the next video where I actually practice graphing some of these.